Look closely at any crowd, and you'll see the unspoken baseline of modern existence. Most of us spend the vast majority of our time completely terrified and anxious. But this constant friction isn't entirely forced upon us from the outside. It is actively manufactured by our own minds, driven by impossible expectations and the projections of our ego. We look for permanence and complete perfection in a world that inherently lacks both. When reality inevitably falls short of these flawless ideals, we are left constantly disappointed and utterly exhausted. To achieve genuine peace, we have to systematically dismantle 3 specific false narratives we hold about love, about human nature, and our place in the universe. The first illusion happens in the privacy of our minds, usually starting with a crush. It operates on a dynamic of complete ignorance, heavily disguised as absolute certainty. Our brain takes a single, isolated physical detail, a specific pair of jeans, or a remarkably thin human wrist, and extrapolates an entire flawless personality. We immediately assume the owner of that wrist must be delicate, intelligent, and wry. Yet we conveniently forget one central, inviolable fact of human nature. Everyone is absolutely crazy and trouble to be around. Time will always reveal that every single person is carrying trauma and is extremely hard to live with. Real intimacy looks nothing like the sweeping fantasy of a crush. It is built in the strange, highly specific reality of sharing embarrassing secrets, like admitting you're addicted to Diet Coke, or that you once ate nothing but an apple and a tin of tuna for 3 months. It's found in quiet, mundane moments, like 2 people casually debating whether a shape in the bottom left of the sky is a caterpillar or just a long cloud. In a real relationship, you develop a bizarre, shared language. To them, that cloud isn't a caterpillar at all. It's a harmonium. And to both of them, it's beautiful. Successful love requires abandoning the error of the crush. We haven't glimpsed complete perfection. We simply need to find someone whose specific brand of crazy is perfectly compatible with our own. Our second illusion centers on how we judge other adults. When people exhibit viciousness, greed, or grumpiness, our default assumption is that they are acting out of pure malice. To fix this lack of empathy, we need an infant corrective. When we look at a crying, distressed baby, we instinctively apply a radically different standard of interpretation. If a baby screams or kicks, we never accuse him of being mean. We instantly assume there is a hidden, underlying physical distress at play. Perhaps he is frightened, hungry, or suffering from a lack of sleep. He can't do a single thing for anyone, yet we devote ourselves to him. This demonstrates the truest, purest kind of love, giving total affection to a helpless creature without expecting a single thing in return. We need to apply this exact same framework to the adults around us. The unpleasantness we see in them is rarely true malice. It is almost always the exact same unexpressed fear, pain, or exhaustion that we so easily forgive in infants. Society hasn't made humans inherently evil. It has simply corrupted our healthier impulses and forced us to rigidly mask our vulnerabilities. True empathy requires treating the adults around us as exactly what they are, disguised, frightened children. The third illusion is our petty egocentrism. If we shift our focus to the environmental scale, the violent, threatening power of the sea offers a stark contrast to our internal human anxieties. Up on the perilous ledges of these cliffs, dense colonies of razorbills and gulls dive into the Atlantic. They are our varied co-inhabitants, sharing a hostile environment in what is largely a deserted, gaseous universe. The cliff itself provides a cross-section of the Earth's autobiography. Bands of sandstone, siltstone, and shale date back 300 million years to the Upper Carboniferous period, showing the agonizing scale of deep time it took for us to even make it here. The ultimate cure for our modern anxiety is to intentionally surrender our frightened attachment to the human perspective. We must learn to identify instead with these vast, impersonal, and entirely indifferent forces of nature. We need only look at the tiny prehistoric corals and brachiopods embedded in the rock to see physical proof of our ultimate insignificance. These ancient organisms have left more of a lasting mark on the Earth than our daily human dramas ever will. Recognizing our sheer smallness is not a tragedy. The indifference of nature is a profound, redemptive relief from the exhausting burden of simply being ourselves. Giving up these illusions doesn't mean we have to abandon romance or withdraw from society. We merely need to discard the toxic belief in the impossible perfection they appear to promise. By accepting that humans are heavily flawed, easily frightened, and cosmically insignificant, a surprising paradox emerges. It actually becomes much easier to truly love them. We can feel the internal sensation of this newfound peace as we fall asleep. The relentless, pulsing energy of nature quietly replaces the frantic, anxious noise of the human ego. We are all merely frenzied instants in eternity. Embracing that shared, fleeting vulnerability isn't a defeat. It is the only true path to finding peace.